stands at roughly just 9. We want to bring in our Thursday gaggle. Joining me now is president of American Bridge and former spokesman to Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, Rodell Molyneux, political reporter for the Washington Post, Nia Malika Henderson. Nice to see you. And Robert Costa, Washington, D.C. editor for the National Review and a CNBC contributor. All right, guys, I'm going to acknowledge this is my debut doing this gaggle. Usually I'm the one on the other side of it. So I'll appreciate your help as we go through this. But I want to put up some of the numbers. Here's the Democratic senators, Robert, who have not yet endorsed same-sex marriage. Carper, Donnelly, Johnson, Manchin, Pryor, Casey, Heitkamp, Landrieu, and Nelson. What is, at this point, the holdup for senators of this sort? Waiting still.
Well, I think a lot of them have a personal view for religious reasons or for whatever personal reason on this issue, and I think that should be respected. And I think there is political pressure right now from the left. The centrist position, the mainstream position in the Democratic Party doesn't seem to be against same-sex marriage. You got to be for it. And I think that's what all these red state Democrats are really trying to acknowledge now and reconcile their own politics with.
We heard from Rob Portman just about a week and a half ago saying that he is now in support of same-sex marriage, citing his son, a Yale student who is gay, and told his family that in 2011. Why do you think we haven't heard from more Republicans right now? It almost seems like it's an anomaly, given the present climate, for people to not say such a thing.
Well, you know, that's the thing. It really is an anomaly. I mean, if you look at the polls, there's still 42% of Americans who don't agree with same-sex marriage, and a lot of people are older, they're whiter, they're more evangelical. And that looks a lot like the Republican Party. So I think Democrats who haven't made this switch yet to supporting same-sex marriage are making those same calculations. They're looking at their states that have conservatives, that have Christians. They're going to have to rely on those. It's just not the Obama coalition that's everywhere in every state at this point.
So you mentioned the polls. Let's put some of those poll numbers up on the screen. One that struck me, I'm not even sure if this is there, is that 81% of adults under 30 say they support same-sex marriage. So that's today's voters and future voters on this topic, but here they are. As you look at those 18 to 34, 77% support, age 65 and older. Obviously, there is still some pushback among the older community in America, about 39%. But I want to ask you, having formerly worked for Mark Pryor, I want to get a sense from you if you have any input on why, where he would stand on that issue. We know he doesn't support same-sex marriage right now, but take me inside someone like Senator Pryor's mind on this issue.
Well, I think that's where we are nationally, which is nationally people favoring same-sex marriage, but I think you also have to look at this locally, and politicians rarely get ahead of their constituents. And so you look at the places that you talked about, Indiana, Arkansas, North Dakota. I'm not sure that if you put, say, for instance, this on a ballot initiative, on a referendum, that same-sex marriage would pass in any of these states.
Yeah, I mean, I was sort of surprised that Kay Hagan came out in support of same-sex marriage.
Kay Hagan now, John Tester.
Yeah, she's in North Carolina. They just passed a ballot initiative saying no same-sex marriage. She's probably looking at the fact that she's going to need a lot of these donors in New York and these donors for whom this is a real issue, and they want to see Democrats get some skin in the game.
The Republican Party, are they evolving on this issue? Will we hear more from Republicans in the months ahead?
I sat down with Reince Priebus recently, the Republican Party chairman, and he said that the party still stands for traditional marriage between a man and a woman. But when it comes to someone like Rob Portman, the party's not going to toss them out of the tent just because they have a different position. So I think there's more toleration for a different view on marriage, but the party's principles remain the same.
And Rodell, I should ask you, do Democrats enjoy the fact that perhaps they're ahead on this issue? Obviously, this is not a constituency that has been very divided in its vote in the recent past, but are they enjoying the fact that they're out in front on this?
Well, listen, I think that there are a lot of Democrats that just don't want to be on the wrong side of history, and the tide is turning, and it might not be this year or next year, but we're getting there.
I don't know much, but I know what that music means. It means stick around. We got to take a break and pay some bills really quickly.